Now, Canada had the right idea and still has the right idea. Boycott the United States because the United States, headed by the taco, the US President Taco, Donald Trump, President Dum Dum, well, attacking and threatening to make Canada the 51st state. Now, obviously, that was like a red flag to a bull, that was. That was the worst thing he could have ever done. In fact, he ended up with a Prime Minister in Canada, a Prime Minister that, well, who is quite frankly anti-Trump. When he wanted Pierre Poilievre, he made that quite clear. He made his little statements on his Truth Social, thinking that people were going to be voting for Pierre Poilievre, but no, they chose Mark Carney. Good choice. The man has how to put it, some guts, some morals, a set of kajibas, but testicles. I don't mind vaginas, okay, just get you right here. But, balls, big balls, Oh, anyway, stop it with the balls. But the thing is, you see, Mark Carney's a decent geezer. And if he happened to be a woman, it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter if he's trans. At the end of the day, he's doing a pretty good job. He is. And he did a good job for us when he was the UK Bank of England governor, especially during Brexit. Oh, my God, what a disaster that is. Well, Donald Trump seems to think it's normal to react to absolutely everything. Tariff to tariff. So everything is reactionary with Donald Trump. Oh, he nasty, do a tariff him or sue them. Everything's reactionary. Now, there's been a lot of talk from other countries and citizens that they're not travelling to the United States. Well, actually, it's just a case of counting, really. You just see it in the figures. 12 billion lost this year in tourism and in the tourism industry, and that's likely to grow further. But like I say, that's a fair reaction to the way that the Trump regime has been behaving, pushing away the Canadians, pushing away the Brits, pushing away Europeans. Across the board, and other nations, including Mexico and what have you, and South America and that, It's just how it is. People do not go to somewhere where they feel they're going to be at risk. They think there's a distinct possibility they're either going to have uncomfortable questioning, or they're going to end up with the gulag, in the Trump lag, the taco lag. It won't be the tacolago, that it won't. But anyway, it ain't good. So people don't want to go there. They're choosing other destinations, places where they feel safer. Let's say, for instance, they're travelling to Europe, to France, to Germany, to Spain, etc. Anywhere, Maybe the United Kingdom has been an uptick even of tourism, even in the UK, which is obviously, it's good for the UK's economy. And the same with France and Germany, etc., and all these other countries, Italy. But what does Donald Trump do? He tries to make out that these countries aren't safe. He has increased the travel advisory to a level 2, which is like the second from the highest, saying that you get pickpocketed, you have your phone stolen, there's terrorism. For Christ's sake, this is a huge landmass. And I live in France, and I at no point felt unsafe. In fact, when all the terrorism was flying about, like for instance, when there's Charlie Hebdo and all that, there was a lot of problems. There was. The gendarmes reacted accordingly. Like for instance, where I live here, and there's a regular fete, a massive fete. There's 200,000 people come here over the course of 3 days, and it's quite a popular thing. You couldn't get into it unless you went through a pair of, one of them security things, and gendarmes with the scanners and stuff. That's how every single person had to go through there. That is how strict they're checking bags, all sorts of stuff. They react, with measures that make you feel more secure. Not in the United States, they'll just shoot you. Shove you in El Salvador, drive-bys, they're shooting their kids in schools, What the heck? And they try and make out that France, Germany, Italy, Spain, and other European nations are unsafe. It's darn sight safer than it is in the United States. For a start, we don't wander around with a gun holster, do we? Not in France. Just, no. And even the countries that, like for instance, I don't know, Switzerland, what have you, they get to keep their guns, what have you, once they've done their national service. They don't go around the streets shooting people. You know, everyone's pretty much got a gun in that country. You see, you could argue that they're saying guns don't kill people, people kill people. There is a lot of truth in that. If you've got a broken fucking society, which you haven't, the United States is broken. And it's literally been, well, that's kind of what's been promoted, the broken side of it, by this taco regime. It's never going to get any better, is it? If you don't fix your society and make people's lives better, give them choices, how the hell is it ever going to improve? It's like the prisons and what have you. Of course you're getting more prisoners in prisons because you're breeding more dangerous people, not necessarily because they're bred that way, but because their life choices kind of point them in that one direction. Not choices, but they ain't really got much of a choice. It's about survival. It is a broken country. And for Donald Trump to say that we are dangerous in France, oh my giddy aunt, this wouldn't seem where I live. You know? I go to my local towns, I don't feel dangerous, walk around at night. You know, I'll tell you something here, right? When I was in the UK, right, if we saw a load of youths at like a late night store, whether it be, I don't know, an off licence or just a store, and kids were hanging around outside, we'd be a little bit concerned, we would. Right? If the same thing happened here, where I am, in France, they'll open the fucking door for you. That's the difference. They'll say bonjour, bonsoir to you. That's also, it's a different culture. They don't want to kill you. Unlike in the United States, everybody wants to kill you. They all got guns. Bang, bang. Just nuts. It's absolute nuts. I honestly don't believe it's necessarily the gun laws are the issue. I don't think they help. Why do you think you need a bloody Uzi? You know? Why do you need a hand grenade? Why? You don't need any of that stuff. You don't need machine guns. If you go hunting and stuff, you might need a rifle. If you go to the shooting range, you might need a handgun. It's all choices. I go around shooting people because that's what you're aiming at. Oh, I'm going to have a drive-by today. Oh, sounds like fun. Can I join you? No. That's not normal behaviour. Sort out your people. That's what you got to do first. And you got to give them better life choices. You got to give them chances in life, basically, and give them a chance. Now, I had employees who used to work for us who, quite frankly, would never ever got a job or very difficult to get a job. I gave them a chance. I put them through college. And as such, I had some of the most loyal, brilliant people. Some of them you think, well, no, there's no chance here. But, you know, you weed them out. Okay? Some of them were absolutely brilliant. Dale, for instance, he's now got his own little business, a building business, and he's done great. You know? Give people a chance. Give them better life chances. Improve your society. Improve, well, the ghettos, you know? People need to stand up against the tyranny and the terrorism and the threat. And at the moment, your biggest threat is the man in the White House. So you must stand up against him. Like I say, it's not necessarily the guns that kill people. It's the people that kill people. And that particular monstrosity of a human being in the White House has the biggest gun of them all. Bang. Anyway, what do you reckon? Please leave it in the comments down below. But as far as Canada's concerned, elbows up! I do support Canada, that I do that, and the boycotts around the world. Anyone you don't believe in, boycott the factors. If you go against your morals, boycott them. Just have as little to do as you possibly can. You can't necessarily do it 100%, but reduce. lower your demand, you know, your use of these things. Toodaloo. It won't fucking press the fucking button. Anyway, beep the old like button. Toodaloo.